Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, please continue to pray for me by singing along with me, gesturing at your screen, and smashing the dislike button. A lot of snafus during this trip, but you know what? I feel so much at peace in Taiwan that each one of these snafus feels a whole lot less heavy than if even a tenth of this had happened in the United States, I'd probably be on the brink of hurting myself. But here in Taiwan, everything is just slow and I can actually think and I can avoid making rash decisions that make things worse and worse. That's often what happens in the US. I run into drama. I try to do something and I make it worse. It's kind of like if you've ever tried to DIY a home repair kind of project and you make it worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, right? I have a tendency to do that. Anyway, so what had happened this week now was that my credit cards aren't working. I had brought a credit card and a debit card from Discover Bank. I have a Discover Bank account. They were working fine earlier this trip. I called Discover yesterday, and calling them was tricky enough because I didn't have a SIM card. I had to have a roommate here help me, and we discovered that they recently kind of severed ties with some company here in Taiwan. I didn't bring my other credit card. I have a Barclays. I didn't think to bring it because here in Taiwan they charge a 3% fee. I thought I had it all squared away with Discover. So then I have to call Barclay to have them mail a credit card here. I hope it comes. Uh, and then I went through my suitcase and I discovered I had all this foreign currency. Uh, I showed you guys yesterday that I'll exchange until I figure out the credit cards. Uh, Fortunately, here in Taiwan, changing currency is pretty straightforward compared to back home in the United States. Um, I should have brought like also some precious metals here. Yeah, both of those are very easy to exchange. Both the foreign currency and the precious metals, and maybe even strategic metals. Who knows? Uh, but pray that I square away the credit card as well. But one thing I've noticed is that here in Taiwan, things flow so much slower and it allows me to think about how to resolve these things and not make rashy jump to conclusion kind of decisions. And so also I just have a whole lot less background stress. Yesterday I talked about how the last time I got home to the US, the people who welcomed me at the airport were not very welcoming, and it created a lot of drama before I even got onto the flight. And so it's like, why? I mean, there was nothing worthy of screaming or cussing or name calling. I don't know why Americans have to assert themselves like that. It's a lot easier to get things done uh, cooperatively, right? It doesn't have to be. I think part of the problem is that so many Americans uh, live so close to the edge that there's so much stress, and then they cause everybody to be stressed out. I don't know. I think it doesn't have to be that way. I think the Americans can learn a thing or two from other countries, not necessarily just Taiwan. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.